Of our quarterfinals Mappool showcase. I am Lot and oh, hi, I was.
Hello there. I apologize for using the wrong transition animation. I accidentally used the slide. That's what I typically use for my own stream, so yeah. Don't worry though. We've got it all settled. So like, we had some really interesting matches on the round of 16 Mappool showcase. Sorry, round of 16 rather. Oh my goodness, I'm really sleepy right now, and I think Lot can feel the same, and so do the other viewers. But man, this Mappool, can I just start by saying it's really difficult?
It is going to be a rocky experience for you guys. It has already been a rocky experience for us always making the pool because it's kind of funny. But I hope you guys will sympathize with us by suffering at the pool. It is kind of funny.
Well, it is funny indeed. But now, shall we proceed with the actual Mappool showcase?
So that was good.
Alright, but just a few things though. Let's get everything a little bit set up. Alright, there you go. So now, for the first map, of course, we're gonna start with the rice department as usual. And wait a second, let's go to the first map. which some of you might actually recognize this as more of a song on the 7K community. Wait, that's not. Oops. Okay.
Stop.
Oh
This
yeah.
is
Ignore it. Ignore it. No,
yeah,
alright.
it's a future pick.
Don't worry
Please
about that. It's a future
do not
pick.
care about it for now.
Yeah. But here's the first pick. Unleashed World. Well, again, like what I said a while ago, when you think of Unleashed World, you think of 7K, BMS, something like that. I mean, that's the first thing that you can think of, right? But here, it's going to be a speed pick, and let's go with how it's going to be played.
This map has some quite interesting dynamics going on for a speed pick. Might be a bit unconventional as well, but you will see how it is in just a few seconds.
Wait a second, what happened to the
For-
screen? Wait a second. Alright, my bad about that.
For
Alright.
now, you have this scuffed stream moment.
Alright, it's okay. We're good now. Alright, we're good. So, like what Lot was saying, there are a lot of unconventional stuff in there, am I right? I mean, to start things off, of course it's not gonna really give you the difficult stuff right away. Well, you're still greeted with
Yeah.
some cookie cutter jump stream, I guess? Which, if you can even count it as jump stream because of how slow it is. But then, you're already greeted with some streams which could really throw you off if you're not careful.
Just a warm up at the moment, but it is. Oh, the stream section is already starting. As you guys can see, there is a mix of different snappings here. You get, I think, 1/7 smooth streams, no, 1/6, and 1/5 dancer trills, and some small bursts of 1/7 and maybe a few chords mixed in as well. So there are a good amount of transitions in the map to be cautious of.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful, because honestly, this map has a lot of transitions you've gotta be very careful of. Not to mention at the speed, it's really going to throw you off, especially if you're not able to balance your wrists. Think about a lot of speed players like me, who's an up wrist player. We really tend to rotate our wrists a lot, and if you rotate your wrists a little bit too much, you could really be thrown off easily.
Yeah, this map is also somewhat stamina heavy as well, which does not help with how technical heavy speed maps are. Good luck with this map, you really did it.
And honestly speaking, you just gotta be really careful with the overall structure of the map. Although, let's move with Rise 2 now. So Rise 2, yeah, based on the title, I mean, just a fun fact, I almost fell asleep playing this. Look, it's a little bit late now, but then again, let's go to the actual structure of this file. So, this map will greet you with a lot of dense jump streams. This is actually slightly faster than the previous jump stream pick. I believe this one is 220 something BPM.
222, correct.
Alright, yeah, indeed, it is a little bit faster.
Well, for reference, the last round's dense stamina map is 209 BPM, so this is, I believe, a 1.06 times increase, which is quite reasonable considering our players are absolutely smashing the jump stream and stream map of Realm of 16.
Yeah, accuracy wise, they were definitely able to showcase that these kinds of BPMs are something they're comfortable in. So don't be surprised if the BPM increases a little bit more with the following rounds. Like, there's gonna be a progression with how they're going to be played and all that. So, what makes this your typical difficult? What makes this not your typical jump stream? Of course, number one, the patterns can be awkward if you're not careful, and I believe there's another section that might throw players off here. Like right after the jump streams, you'll definitely be seeing it soon. Yeah,
I think you may already have seen some of those sections that you may mess up on already.
yep.
Yes, I was referring to those stream sections. They're short but very noticeable in the map because, of course, they are gonna test your transitioning skill and also a degree of sanity. So, do not be sleepy when playing this map.
Yeah, definitely. Look at what just happened. Like I started hitting all over the place because of how sleepy I was. And yeah, I got a much lower score than I really could have. So yeah, gotta keep your focus onto the screen. That's really the name of the game here. You gotta make sure you're able to just hit those notes and focus on whatever's going on. So, shall we proceed now to Rise 3 then? Which honestly,
Yep.
you know what's kind of funny about this map? Like, you remember the previous Rise 3? I forgot the name, but it was the one with the racing background, right? Wasn't that like 180 something BPM? Isn't that true?
Yeah,
And
it's 184 BPM.
yeah, and now
Closest to
this
185.
this one is a big increase from that. Like, I believe it's 218. Around there, right?
Well, to be fair, last round's stamina pick was a bit undershot, so this one is going to bring the balance up for those stamina enthusiasts.
Yeah, I feel like
200
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this is 218 BPM of continuous transition focus jump stream pan streams. So it is going to be on the trickier side in terms of pirating, and the length of the map overall is longer as well, clocking in at 2 minutes and 51 seconds.
Honestly, impressive. The thing that will really impress me is how consistent players have been.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if players are just going to dominate the leaderboard with those cracked jump stream hand stream scores. So we gotta up our game just a bit. It's fun.
Yeah, you really gotta increase the map pool here. And yeah, while we did undershoot the difficulty last round, like what Lot said, this certainly is gonna make up for a lot of that. Like the thing that makes this file hard isn't just the fact that it's consistent, but it's also because there's a lot of one-handed trills. I mean, it's your typical Falcon sound team kind of file where it's very awkward and you really gotta maintain that consistency.
Yeah, there is definitely a recognizable style in those Falcon Sound Team JDK maps. You know this artist, and even though the mapper is not Lemon Guy, we still see those similar jump stream motifs from those MWC maps. It's very skill reliant, and not just raw skill, but I mean, I'm referring to more of transitions and like technicality, kinda. Somewhat part of the difficulty also comes from the anchors as well as, and maybe some of the flow direction changes, which I think can be quite stamina heavy when used in near successions, like in those types of maps. But
Indeed. I
well,
mean, this file has a lot of challenges thrown at you. That stamina factor and consistency. I mean, mix those two together and you will not get a friendly map at all. Very unfriendly for players like me who's really bad at one-handed drills.
death. Anyways, enough with the jump stream galores. Let's switch to something maybe friendlier for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, finally, like I feel like these players will be like, yeah, I've finally been waiting for this kind of pick. I mean, I don't know why, but isn't this a pick that was used in another tournament, like 4DM or something like that? I might be wrong though,
I
but the song is
I
familiar.
don't know.
Okay, the song is
Yeah,
familiar at least.
this feels like it's been used somewhere else, but I don't know, and it does not matter.
So true. But yeah, this is our core jack pick. I mean, think about core jacks. A lot of the players who play core jack typically play straightforward ones. You know, patterns that are physically difficult, but in terms of pattern awkwardness, they aren't really that evident. But here is a kind of chart that will definitely test how stable you are, how stable your wrists are, and how well you can hit consistently at a certain BPM. And now this one can really tire you out if you want to stay laser focused.
Alright. This map is, I would say, the patterning is overall quite friendly if you are a well-versed tournament player, but if you are more of a vibro jack guy, then this might not be for you. This is more of like a speed jack map, so there are not only transitions between finger and wrist jacking motions, but also the matter of playing irregular anchors. You don't get a stable patterning like, say, Vibro Jack. Instead, the patterns are very volatile and you have to keep track of how the patterns change throughout the map. And it does not help that this specific map is very continuous in its patterning, so there's the extra factor of stamina challenge.
Yeah, stamina certainly is gonna be a factor. Like, it may not be super fast, but the thing about accuracy is like a lot of it's dependent on how good your mental is. Like your mentality, how you're able to focus on these maps. And if you're not able to focus very well, then you could easily lose a lot of your stamina.
Yeah.
So now I believe we shall proceed with the fifth rice pick, Tacticality. And that is a ridiculously long player name, but we ball, I guess. Let's go.
Thank you, Burger 8 Pizza, for nourishing the starving puppy in need of maps. I am the starving puppy. Please help me.
Okay. I mean,
Anyway,
speaking of please help me. I'm sure a lot of players will be saying that if they had to play this file and they aren't accustomed to technical maps in general.
this map is aggressive, I swear. There's both technicality and physicality intertwined in a very subtle way. You guys probably will struggle on both without realizing it in a separative fashion, because it's just that smooth, but also abrasive. It's a very clean map overall, but obviously it is still very heavy on technicality. Being clean does not mean being safe, and this map is definitely not a safe pick for any of you guys.
Oh, it's definitely not safe. Like, even this quote unquote break section, like, we can definitely see a lot of players finding misses here and there, and it's gonna be concerning, especially considering that these kinds of parts are, I'd say, the most important parts in a way. Because if you make a mistake here, the chances of your opponent making a mistake of their own in a section like this is actually much lower, considering that, like, you just really gotta perform on these parts, and now you're in a difficult section once again.
This map got really interesting patterns for a tech pick. Like, usually I would maybe expect more isolated and less continuous patterns, but this map, its dynamic is very continuous, and the transition challenge is not from the stop and go motions, but rather on how the patterns switch between mini jacks and bursts. So the intervals of how you hit the notes are very irregular. It's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed. But honestly, as long as you're really able to practice files like this, like when you practice, typically you don't do it like a lot of times. Just practice the file once or twice, and hopefully you'll be able to perform better in match. Typically, you can avoid bad performances as long as you're able to familiarize yourself with the patterns that are going to come across you. But then I think we're gonna have our final rice pick soon, which is going to be Admiral. This is our wild card pick.
Mhm. So, typically you see Mappools categorizing technical and wildcard picks and like just put it in the same bunch. We would rather separate it, but the spirit of mappooling those tech and wildcard picks still stay the same. While Rogue Myth of the technical pick is more focused on jacks and abrasive patterns, this wildcard map is going to be more stream focused and it's also more flowy. So transitions and activates are not going to be as big of an issue, but you may have to be careful approximating those flowy bursts and graces intertwined in jump stream patterns.
It's honestly, think about wild card picks in general. Like think about like you can find a lot of similar things between technical and wild card picks. Like they're chokeable. There's a lot of patterns that are unorthodox and etc. But think about the wild card picks is usually these picks are shorter, and honestly, let's look at the chart. This is indeed slightly shorter than the technical pick by a few seconds. But I mean, to what Lot said, this is more streamy. It's like a streamy tech of some sorts. I mean, like, is it even dumps at this point? Like, isn't it kind of giving that vibe? Like those technical, like those kind
Yeah.
of dumpy,